Okay. Next up, the NFL heads back to London for the first, I guess the second international game, first London game of the year. We've got Jets. Jets and Vikings. I guess the Vikings are kind of the home team here in London. Line on this one, I've got Vikings -3 is the spread, over under 40.5. The betting splits: 85% of the bets in the spread coming in the Vikings, 86% of the bets coming to the over, and 89% of moneyline bets coming in the Vikings. Okay, so we've got the Vikings coming off a pretty dramatic road win in Green Bay, and the Jets coming off a horrific home loss to a Broncos team that might be pretty bad. I guess the question here is who's going to travel better, really.
Yeah. It should be noted that Rodgers has a knee injury this week, seemingly from getting banged around by the Broncos defense.
He's a launcher. He can stand in, as long as he doesn't pop his Achilles. I think he's going to be fine. There's nothing like really that athletic in his game anymore.
That's true. But I mean, we have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Sam Darnold has been playing lights out for the past 4 weeks. I don't know if I can fade him going into week 5.
Okay.
And Rodgers hasn't played, as well as he could have. I don't think the Jets defense isn't playing as well as they could be. It seems like they're underperforming as a whole. And it's also worth mentioning, it seems like Rodgers hates his head coach.
Yes, I think I'm pretty sure everybody in with the Jets hates each other. Like nobody in that team likes anybody.
Yeah. So give me the Vikings -3 in London as a home dog, I suppose. But
Okay.
I can't fade the Vikings in week 5.
Okay. The problem I have with this one is that the Vikings are 4-0 against the spread this year. It's really hard for a team to go 5-0 ATS this year. Also, I feel like this line is a bit too short. Like I feel like the Vikings should be opening as a bigger favorite. I think this line should be like 5 or 6. So when I see the short line and I see a team that's undefeated against the spread, that gives me pause. I think that, whenever I see something stinky with the lines, that always gets my antenna up, and that always makes me want to fade what I think is the obvious choice. I think it's a little too obvious to take the Vikings at -3. And this is just a straight, I'm not going to bet heavy on this. This is just going to be a sprinkle. I'm just going to go, Jets plus the 3 and see what happens. I think this is the case of, I think a lot of folks are going to be loading up in the Vikings this week. And whenever that happens, it's typically a recipe for disaster. I don't think this is the week to buy into this Vikings team. These London games tend to be weird, and I think we're due for some London weirdness here. I don't have a strong feel on this game. I can't really it's hard to explain, but just looking at the way the numbers are kind of laid out here, this is a Vikings fade spot for me. I don't trust it. Also, the betting, so 85% of the split, 89% of the money line already coming in on this, on a 4-0 team against the spread. Something stinks, and I'm staying away from the stink in this one. Give me the Jets plus the 3.
Also worth noting, it's a Sam Darnold revenge game. So,
or is it a Jets revenge game on Sam Darnold?
No, it's Sam Darnold revenge game.
I'm on the Jets. I know. It's hard. It's barely defensible, but it's just I'm not trusting it. Give me the Jets plus the 3. This line stinks. I'm staying away from the stink.
All right.